outside of our old base.
Do you have your Chromebook?
Yes.
Search up pig wakes up for cookie. Cute.
Right. Oh
Pig.
yeah, we have almost 3 stacks of eggs.
Off camera mining.
Fell asleep. Pig wakes up for
It's actually
cookie.
awesome. Do you see it?
Yeah. He's trying to buy onto it.
It's cute.
Yum 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 yum.
Okay, he just eats the cookie. It's adorable. Who was to say pigs aren't cute?
Okay. So I got inspired by this guy on a video. Oh no! Don't kill the baby sheep. A wolf just killed a baby sheep. Not in the surprise. But
Haha,
like
I
I was
love
watching.
watching nature kill each other. Haha.
I was watching a 100 day video earlier today, but it was a duo, and I thought, hey, maybe I could do this, and I got inspired by the house they made, so I made something in my own way similar.
100 days is probably what made me want to do my Minecraft worlds too.
Well, this didn't really made me want to do it. It just, I don't know. I got lava buckets to smelt sand for it. I wouldn't say it's a really big build, but it's one of the main bigger builds I've made before in survival.
With the wandering trader. Look at that gold printing. That's super fun. So it's regular villager mold, right? But done in blue with a lot of printing on them. So this is a really fun figure. Really. This set is still out on the store shelf. I believe you can get it.
I don't know why. I wasn't really tired and I just fell asleep in the middle.
On sale in other retailers. That's a fun print. This guy cannot. We'll probably see how this again. Summer after all. But these are specialized.
I'm gonna go to Amazon real quick. Lego Minecraft.
When Minecraft has a Nerf crossbow, like my gosh. Dude, when the Minecraft crossbow from Nerf is sus. When the impulse torted my name on their ass.
There is just a random plush of Steve. It says Mojang Minecraft Steve plush pillow. Buddy. Super soft. A $6 Lego skeleton. What? Why would I buy a $6 skeleton Lego? Why would I buy a what? Where is this build at? So here it is, $130. It's a giant llama set. It has pillagers, llamas, villagers, and the custom print. Wow, they made Lego Phantoms. This guy made a T-posing iron golem. Just getting really hungry. It's only 11:18. I would say this build goes to height limit. And it's pretty wide. Like it's a pretty big and tall build. Because it goes to almost height limit. No, I'm just kidding. It goes to 75.
I did some off-camera mining.
You did?
No, it's a meme.
Oh, darn, I forgot, yeah. Off-camera mining built a whole entire city.
Yeah, I did mine. Off-camera mining literally fills up the airspaces of the Nether with diamond.
Just gonna go pick up some more eggs. Holy crap, this is more eggs than I get at from my real chickens.
Yeah, it's called Minecraft logic.
I saw this video and it's real chicken and it says chicken, egg, slams it down on a metal pan. Makes a loud bang. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more bookshelves. Yay. Okay. I was gonna ask if I could. Oh yeah, I got a stack and 29 pieces of paper. I'm about to go harvest some more paper.
Finally, the harvest can commence.
And I was in the range of it growing.
Sorry.
So.
Finally, the harvest can commence. Take me! I'm ready! Jesus Christ, that one is so funny.
A stack and 14 pieces of sugar cane from this farm that was fully harvested. So many, see how much more sugar cane or paper we can get. Finally. A stack and 2 stacks. Okay. A stack and 43 paper.
Hello. How's it going?
Hello.
And rip.
And now we are up to 2 stacks, 47. You killed another sheep.
Did you just kill a wolf?
No. I'd rather kill chickens than foxes kill chickens. Finally, the harvest can commence.
You know what this means, right? I'm a god. Bells ring in the background. I finally hit 1 million consecutive viewers on my Twitch. Can we all admit that Tommy in it had pretty good spirit about, like, that video? Like, he could have been like that one a-hole that took it not seriously.
Nigga Kato actually reacted to
Yeah, like
Kevin's.
Nick Ricardo had nothing. He's like, oh, I'm being fat shamed. He actually
I
responds
love it
like,
when he
well,
goes.
listen, I'm a fat piece of shit too.
I love it when he goes. This is abuse, or like some like when he gets that weird face of just stirring
I love it
himself.
when he
Like,
starts blinking his eyes rapidly.
yeah, that's what I mean. He gets that concerning face, like kind of like a sour face, but not really. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, "Is this how you're gonna treat me? Is
Does
this really
not
how
one
you're
of
gonna
you know
treat
how
me?"
to flush a toilet? Even one of you has had a shot? Whatever is one of yours? Disgusting! God, I
Wow,
love
these
that
baby
meme.
cows are still babies.
Either one of you has had a sh-
Here we go. Make me baby. Now parent must die. Who wants leather? Finally! Now the harvest can commence.
If you watch all my other videos, you probably know where this song is from.
Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Did you know this mangrove would right before?
where did that thing come through?
There's mangrove before it was
Huh.
even made on the smithing table.
Huh.
There's mangrove on smithing tables. Finally, the harvest can commence. Dun, dun, bum, ba-dum, dun, 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 dun. Where is my super suit?
I watched that movie a few days ago. Where's my super sook? I love. The public is in danger! I am the. Honey, I am your wife. I'm the only good that you're ever gonna get. God.
So where is my super suit? I'm gonna have to put some stuff
It's
in
for the
the
greater good. Greater good, honey. I am your wife. I'm the only good that you're ever gonna get. Mm, 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 mm.
I'm gonna mute for a second. Sorry.
Turn around. Ba ba bum bum.
Cow, yes. Pony, where is your mom? Okay, I'm just gonna run around and see if I can find any cows. How do you get megabytes or get megabytes? Like give them.
You have to explore world constantly.
Well, I'm okay.
Like
I'm loading.
build.
Probably load in more chunks only because I'm trying to find cows.
Oh, go to the village.
I did. One of them are still babies.
There should be cows there.
I know. There's one that's a baby. There's one that's adult. I have to wait for the baby to grow.
Then wait for it to grow.
That's what I am. I'm looking around in the village. I have to go to the bathroom. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just making my way downtown, committing murder.
Making my way through the hood, sipping this yak. Everyone's about to get blown with a Mac. A yak, 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 yak. Yak, 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 yak. Boom, 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 boom. That's a grenade launcher. Pish, 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 pish. That's the silence. Dude, that song is so funny.
Come here, piggy. Another pig, eh? Sheep. Name one famous Minecraft YouTuber that's a sheep. Not one.
I'm a squid kid.
Squid Kid.
Hey, yo, what?
There's one thing about Squid
Hold
Kid
on,
injury.
hold on.
Oh, Sunny V2 made a video today about Daddy 05.
Hold on.
Cow, yes. 2 cows. Can't get one out of my render chunks. Come here, cow. No leather? Oh. But Sunny V2 made a video about Daddy 05.
I know the sounds these things make. What? Why did you just kill that? Why did you just kill a horse?
I'm in creative now.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Fine, it's just a mob, it's Minecraft, like
Don't kill horses.
Who else am I supposed to get leather race? Who else?
Use cows, damn it. Hey, you're supposed to be breeding the cows.
Yeah, I can't find any and I don't
Go to the islands.
I am. And I am bringing the ones at the village, so. Hey, you want your mommy? Your mom's dead. I don't want to watch a little baby cow watch its mom die, so it has to have misery too. It's Minecraft, but if you kill a mob, they never respawn. They never repopulate again. Holy crap, that's a big cave. Oh, pink sheep! I found a pink sheep race! I thought it was a pink.
I'm tired of superhero movies.
Water. How come?
Well, because...
Here's, I'm sending you it.
This could be the most
I know.
controversial video I've made since the
Should I
time I
keep it?
debated bone-in versus boneless chicken wings. Or I could be completely wrong here, hitting the crack.
What should I do with it?
It might just be an extremely cold, stale
Just
take.
leave it be, I
I'm
guess.
really not sure. Could go either way. I'm just super tired of superhero content. Marvel.
Wait, why not go to the Nether and kill hoglins?
I just don't get excited for them.
Maybe you are.
Superhero fatigue.
Yeah, they drop leather. Not as common as cows.
Do they spawn in peaceful?
Yeah, actually, yes they do, and they don't attack. Dude.
But one thing, we're in a basalt biome.
Well, shit.
It's being shoved down your throat.
It's more of a soreness from being
Let's
face
see if I
fucked
can
by
find
superheroes
a.
for so long now. Marvel just unveiled like 6,000 new shows and movies on the horizon here, and I've been asked my opinion on each and every one of them. It's just exhausting, because it's like being asked to rate
Did that double
every
chest go on
individual
the
noodle
island?
in a bowl of spaghetti. I'm gonna rate them all pretty much the same, because they all taste the same. And I want to be clear before people get too upset and flipping over their chair in a fit of rage and anger. There's nothing wrong with liking superhero content. Nothing at all. In fact, I still do enjoy watching it in the moment, like I have fun watching them, but it's not like I get excited. But there's nothing wrong with being excited either. You can have a completely different opinion from me. It's just I feel like everything for superhero content is pretty much the same these days. And I think
I
it's
think
important
so
to
too,
define
and
exactly what I
it
mean here.
stinks.
I'm talking entirely about
Heroes,
Marvel and
bad
DC.
guys.
I
Most
love The
sometimes of
Boys
them are
and I love
betrayal.
Invincible, and those are both two superhero shows, but they're very different from the Marvel DC formula. Very, very, very far removed
What is he
from
talking
those
about?
two. To give you an example,
He
every
just
time
doesn't
Marvel
like
or
superhero
DC
movies so
drops a
much
new
anymore, I
trailer
guess.
for a show or
Well, it was
movie, I'm
very
always
different
asked
from the
on
others.
stream to watch it and give my opinion on it, and I always draw the same conclusion, that it was a pretty generic trailer that followed the same formula that they've been using for the last decade. And to go even further,
I remember
when
the
I
last
watched
time
the
I seen a
Black Adam
Marvel
trailer on
Adam
stream, I started
trailer.
to guess upcoming lines correctly, even though I had never seen the trailer before. You can be the destroyer of this world, or the savior.
That's the kind of trailer I was seeing, not like those ones. Those, yeah.
What a guess. The world needed a hero. It got me. Instead, they've got Oh, I'm nuts! I'm nuts! Let's go! This is so fucking generic. It doesn't take a galaxy brain intellect to put together what the next lines were going to be.
Dead.
This wasn't exactly like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 with next you're going to say this and it'd be really impressive. I think these were pretty predictable lines that most people could have seen coming, because all superhero movies basically have the same bones these days. They follow very similar structure. Every character, again, follows very similar patterns where they're always making jokes and quipping with one another. And these lines in the trailers are always very similar.
Where do you think you're
I
going?
have a feeling they're all written by the same
Come here,
team.
you stupid piece
They
of
just like
crap.
Don't get that bitch ass over here.
superhero trailer department because they always,
He stole a piece of leather.
pretty much play out the exact same. And again, there's
Well, he
nothing
didn't
wrong
steal
with
one, but he
liking
had
that
to.
either. I enjoy superhero movies as well. I have fun watching them. I leave happy. It feels good. And that's as far as it goes. There's nothing wrong with it being that level of entertainment, but it's getting to a point where I'm just really tired of seeing the same thing every time, so now I'm not really leaving happy, I'm leaving. It's not a bad movie. Like, none of the superhero movies or shows are, like, actually shit, like dog shit. There's just so many
Shit,
of them now,
like
and
dog
it's hard
shit.
to care. It also just seems completely aimless. Like, there's no goal for these movies anymore. In the beginning, it always tied back into, like, the Avengers and Thanos and all of that, which was cool. It gave it an overarching purpose. But now they've introduced, like, a million fucking characters into the mega mix here. They threw, like, 20,000 ingredients into a stew, and it's just
We need one more
overload
bookshelf
that you
race.
can't appreciate, or at least I can't. Again, this is just about my personal opinion on it. I'm just pretty tired of seeing so
Race,
much
one more
superhero
bookshelf.
shit.
Oh,
And
wait,
I
no,
do
we're already at
watch
level
all of it
30.
still. It's not like I'm boycotting or anything. I still do indulge
Race, we're
and
at
watch
level
all
30.
of it, except for the
Yay.
shows. I cannot finish the shows. The only show I've actually been able to watch start to finish is Loki. It's the only one I've enjoyed.
And it's
All
ranked.
the other ones I've dropped after like 3 episodes. They're so fucking boring, and they're just always the same goddamn thing. I'm watching carbon copies of one another, like they're just clones. I feel like I'm taking absolute crazy pills here, getting hit by like an insanity beam from space. It really just seems every show for Marvel follows the exact same formula, as well as the movies. I liked the new Doctor Strange, even though a lot of people didn't. I had fun with it, but it's a movie I haven't thought about since finishing.
I didn't watch it. It actually
It's
kind
not
of does
like
look good.
I
Not gonna lie.
forget that I watched them. Like,
It
I have
is.
fun in the moment,
They
and
bring
then it's
back
immediately
some
erased
movies.
from my memory like the minute
Not that I
Black
say
just kicked down my door to pick it out with the neuralizer. It's movies that are just fun to shove some popcorn in your face and enjoy like 2-hour ride. But that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to its shows and its movies, I just feel like all of the superhero content follows the exact same formula. every character is pretty much exactly the same except for their powers. They're always constantly quipping, making short little jokes with one another, undercutting the serious moments with humor at every step. It's just hard to like get invested when you know exactly how all of these are going to play out. It's also just hard to care when it seems like there's no goal. One thing that really helped with Marvel in particular is all of it tied into the Avengers and getting to that in-game situation. Like, all of it had a big purpose, which I feel like it's completely lacking now. Like, I didn't even realize we were in Phase 4 or Phase 5, and now we're moving into Phase 6 or some shit. Like, none of this has any meaning to me. It's all completely worthless nonsense. Phase 6 now, like, who the fuck cares? What happened in Phase 4 or 5? Like, yeah, there were some good movies there that I enjoyed, but do they tie into each other? Is there an actual goal? I have no clue. And I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be tie-ins. It'd be fine if they're their own standalone things.
Alright, so I'm doing that stair step what you recommended with Windows.
They're not. They don't tie in, yet
Yeah,
they
do
still
that,
follow
and
the
it
exact
brings
same
out your build a
formula.
little bit better.
I don't know, it seems completely aimless. They're just always making as much superhero shit as possible, just going purely for the big quantity play. And it's working, like, I know they're all still doing well, but I have to wonder how much longer they can continue to milk this dry tit. I can't imagine I'm alone here. I know there is a lot of people experiencing superhero fatigue, but I just don't know
You should
how
detain
big
it.
it is. Now, one other thing I'd like
Well,
to
you
at
already
least bring
have
up
it.
here
That's
in reference
clever.
to all this is that this Marvel slash DC superhero
The butcher,
formula is something that's really infected a lot of other movies and shows because they're trying to emulate that same formula. To give you an example, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out, they dropped the trailer.
Hey, what?
I felt like I was watching a Marvel trailer. They took all of the same beats that the superhero movies and shows do and translated it
no,
into
but
D&D.
it sounds
So they
interesting.
basically just took a Marvel movie and gave it a D&D skin. At least that's what the trailer leads me to believe. Every character is doing the same shit they do in Marvel. They're constantly making jokes, they're quipping, everyone's so quirky. The writing feels exactly the same. The trailer feels exactly the same. They also get some of the Dungeons and Dragons shit wrong, as I understand it. I'm not a huge D&D guy. I only have very limited experience with campaigns. But they're just very much going for that.
Dungeon and Dragons and Vecna's Curse.
Oh, Wandering Trader. I'll take a leave anytime. No, I need to go see what he trades first. Oh, he has 2 brown llamas. Let me see what you got. You've got spruce saplings.
I love
the
the joke I made about Twitter, how I said that you could say that the color orange sucks and you'd be called a racist bitch. I mean, it's true.
race. I'm totally gonna buy a spruce sapling in the middle of a spruce forest.
Yeah. Too rare. You don't come across those too easily.
Lily of the Valley.
You know, those are actually poisonous.
Lily of the Valley?
Lily of the Valley, if you consume them, they're poisonous. They actually make poisonous too, and
Not every character needs to be Tony Stark. This all started because Tony Stark was such a popular character, and he had great writing. He had great jokes, he had great lines, but he was really the only one doing those jokes and those lines in that movie initially. And going forward, they started to like kind of integrate that same personality trait to all of their other characters. Thor, I do think, started as like goofy jokes and stuff like that, so I wouldn't necessarily say that was influenced there. But bringing it forward into every other character, they kept taking little elements of that and putting it into those characters where it didn't need to be. In fact, I think it detracts from it. Not every character should be joking all the time. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's too much. And just in general, too much of superheroes overall. I really think they need to dial it back a little bit and give themselves a little more time to let it cook in the oven and deliver something more tasty, something better than what we're currently getting, because it feels like it's just written by a bot now. A bot that knows the formula and keeps churning it out as quickly as possible for maximum turnover.
wait a second. I think my hypothesis is incorrect. You know, I don't think the speed and the thickness of the arrows on my cords represents the power, like how much power units are in there. I think it represents the percentage of power. So I guess this is what it looks like at 20% power.
Level 31 enchantment? Oh, I like that crazy joke. I'm just gonna leave these chickens to die. That are outside the area.
Yeah, cause look, if I turn all these off, look how thick this first one is. And I turn them on.
I think I'm adding a farm under here. Let me go get some ladders. So right, so I'm gonna add a new farm area. I think you'll like it if I'm not wrong. I have my headaches. Where is the ladders? Here they are. I'll need 62 of them. Well, not all 62, but I need some of those, 4 of them. Never mind, 8 of them. You can't put letters on glass?
The tragedy of the saddest family on YouTube. Yep, there the video
I
is.
would like to tell you a little story. From losing
Daddy05, absolute degenerate piece of shit scumbag. Like,
I
literally,
got that same. Sorry.
complete degenerate. There's no value in his life. He's a child abuser. He's a complete dipshit. He should be banned from all public spaces.
Did you know I got that, The Office ad, too?
Yeah. I love The Office.
I don't
That's
know
kind.
why
I think that's kind of like where the "that's what she said"
Having
meme came from.
their entire channel deleted by YouTube. This is the tragic tale of YouTube's most controversial family channel, Daddy05. It was created on the 13th of August 2015 by parents Mike and Heather with the goal of pranking their 5 children for views, stating that they always thought their lives would make an awesome movie and that they as a family decided to make this
Mine
YouTube channel
would.
just for fun. And in the beginning it was exactly that. It was
I
fun.
don't know what
When
that
looking
meant.
at their earlier pranks such as this one, in which Mike would try to scare his daughter with a hockey mask, we can see that most of the pranks were fairly
I'm
harmless.
like, the way they do
Whenever they weren't
coding
playing
is so
pranks,
mean.
Mike was maybe doing a grocery store run, an exercise vlog, or possibly even firing up the barbecue, which wasn't all that provocative to say the least. However, as Daddy05 approached 100,000 subscribers fueled by their fun family...
I mean, hockey mask scaring prank and like that, like scaring your child like that. I mean, that's okay, but like, you know, they made it like making Cody think he was lost in mall prank. Do you remember once when I got somewhat like lost? I was kind of freaking the shit out. Like I was scared.
Yeah.
That doesn't do good. Also, Cody has a mental illness called like
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. Like where he's usually not.
He says it.
Get her as mad as she could possibly get. I'll end it. When it goes too far, I'll end it. But let's see how mad you can get.
As a result of this being the goal, Mike would then realize that
Like,
not
that's
every
like
child
one of
in
the
the family
sicko
would give
moves.
an equally strong
He's a
reaction.
sick,
For example, there
twisted
were Emma would
bastard.
barely react to even the most brutal of
And
pranks.
apparently it's a stepmom.
Leading Mike to
Dude, I'd want to die if I lived with him.
Well, I'll tell you why we don't ever prank Emma.
You think?
Simply because Emma cannot be pranked. When we do prank her, she has like no reaction to it. There's zero reaction.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, there was Cody, who would basically have an emotional meltdown.
Poor Cody.
He was pranked.
It's just
I hope Cody's doing pretty good now. Poor little guy.
Cody had been diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder.
There it is, oppositional defiant disorder.
Often and easily loses temper,
Yeah,
is
I said
frequently
he would.
touchy and easily annoyed by others, is often angry and resentful, which was accentuated by the parents reinforcing to Cody's face that he was what you might call a problem child, after mentioning that teachers should get a raise just for having to put up with him.
These teachers need a
You should have a raise. That is absolutely awful to save your child. You're such a douchebag.
Cody Shaw fused
You're
to
the
make him the main target whenever Mike wanted
Daddy 05 is below me in many intellectual levels that makes him seem like a virgin I'm up here. He's 6 feet underground. No, I'm not saying dead. Like he's 6 feet like under my finger right here. He is below me in many multiple levels. Glug, 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 glug.
Daddy 05 is apparently I've heard he was in jail for 5 years. Or it's something to do with 5 years.
He deserves this jail sentence.
Same. Like, doing that to a young kid with,
And the worst thing is he's filmed it, too.
yes.
camera.
Me and
The
Jane
ink one was what
just did a
really
prank
got them.
on Cody, and now I feel really, really, really bad about it.
And since the most
The more you
intense
do it.
reactions generated the
No
most
kidding.
views, Cody was often pushed well beyond crying, during which Mike would even refuse to turn off the camera after Cody had asked him to do so.
No, I gotta vlog my life. You know that.
Spotting a
That
trend
just-
in the way that the
But
parents
actually,
No,
I thought
you
it was
don't.
pretty-
I gotta vlog my life. I'm not trying to say this to be biased. Literally, here's the thing. If what's it called? For example, I had a project that my friends did, and I asked them, "Hey, can I post this on YouTube?" They said, "No, please don't post on YouTube." So I'm like, "Okay, that's okay." I didn't post it on YouTube. You wanna know why I did that? Because I have respect for my friends. If they don't want their lives to be publicized on my platform, they won't. I asked for their permission, they said no, and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Just like,
Unlike
if
Daddy
that guy
05.
doesn't want to be filmed on camera and posted online, don't do it. The reason that I allow myself, I have given myself permission saying, hey, I want to be online. So that's why I stream.
Yeah.
But still, you have to ask me if you to film me on camera most of the time if you're not my family.
and their other kids, Reddit began to get vocal about the Daddy 05 channel. These kids need to be taken away and have their time with their parents supervised, at least for a period of time. Cody for sure needs to be taken away from that house for good, and he needs to know that he was right. This is awful. I feel so bad for Cody. This is unwatchable, and this guy should be in jail. Honestly, I could never in a million years imagine treating my kids like this. It didn't help that Mike took next to no
Didn't the guy that said
responsibility
in a
for
million
Mike
years have like
unacceptable
this Reddit
behavior.
weird guy?
For example, as shown in the previous clip where he mentioned feeling bad for a prank he had played on Cody, he justified it by stating that everyone else had told him to do it.
Everybody talked me into doing it.
No.
Everybody said it would be hilarious.
They
Are
did.
you
Okay,
serious?
yeah. They may
Yep, guess
have.
what? You know what? I killed this guy last night. My friend told me that I should do that. Well, if you're, I don't know if you know this, but that is called peer pressure, and peer pressure is a sign of a very toxic relationship with your friends. Peer pressure is basically like saying, oh, go smoking, oh, go do drugs and alcohol. Like your friends start like pressuring you to do stuff, and it's extremely toxic.
Yeah. Okay, I had a new farm. Now I just have to get fences and put it over.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Give me a second. Give me a second. You make Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second now. Give me a second now.
Anyway, as I was saying, back to the video.
The mother in the family, Heather, who was actually a stepmother.
That is not an invalid excuse.
In addition to stating that teachers deserved a raise for having to put up with him, a Reddit comment would highlight that she said, "I love you, but I don't like you" to Cody. Although the original episode has since been deleted, so while this is impossible to verify as true, it certainly sounds like something she would say. As in
Bitches.
another video, Heather would state that she was glad Cody wasn't coming to Disneyland with the family, as he was simply going to make everyone miserable.
Only because apparently he put poop on the wall when the toilet overflowed.
Have bad behaviors. Cody has something else.
The reason Cody wasn't allowed to come to Disneyland was that after going to the toilet, he had, quote, put poop everywhere.
Cody's going to Nan's because Cody was bad and didn't earn going to Disney, which sucks.
He put poop everywhere several times.
Which would be investigated by another large YouTuber known as Philip DeFranco, who would come to discover the following information.
Philip DeFranco came out with a video today talking about Cody not going to Disney.
I mean, that sounds like a sign of abuse to me.
Because he, put feces everywhere or something like that. He talked to
Feces.
mental health experts, and they said, this could be a sign of trauma. What do you say to that? Why do you think Cody did this?
Daddy05 would go on to clarify this by stating that the toilet had simply overflowed.
There is no feces on the wall. What happened was the toilet overflowed. It happened.
Just like the shit meter.
Kids in the house.
Right.
The toilet overflowed. So I said that instead of saying the real issue, why he didn't go to Disneyland, which he was really embarrassed about, and he doesn't want anyone to know.
Yet this response only created more questions. Why would you ban a kid from going to Disneyland for simply making the toilet overflow? Would it not be more embarrassing to say that he put poop on the wall in comparison to the reality being that the toilet had simply been clogged?
You say that you didn't want to share something because you didn't want to embarrass your son, but you put out a video where you claimed that your child, who potentially his friends watch these videos, you put out a video that he's putting poop around his house as if that's not
Yeah, it's not really that fun, is it?
Toilet overflowed, and then you can't talk about the real reasons it's embarrassing.
Philip DeFranco and Keemstar covering the story led to countless other YouTubers publicizing their opinion about Daddy05 being unacceptable. For For example, a video titled How Daddy05 Ruined His Childhood would go viral on Reddit with close to 17,000 upvotes, alongside another Reddit thread with 3,000 upvotes, in which many comments mentioned that the case had been reported to Child Protective Services. However, this had actually been brought up in the interview with Keemstar, where Daddy05 mentioned that they had already been investigated by Child Protective Services, who requested that they change a few things within the videos, yet found nothing wrong with the way that the family was being run.
CPS, you said, is interviewing the family or investigating the family. Has that case been closed or is it still open?
No, it's been closed, and that was a while back.
We had changed up everything that they
Do you know their apology video is so shit?
Yeah.
Privately, and
Have you seen
the
it?
case was closed
Mhm.
because there's
It's
nothing.
Seen it on
complete
that.
dog shit.
There was nothing for them to
Seen it on
see,
that video. I've
and they
never seen
realized that. They
Daddy.
did say that some of our videos were distasteful, which I can agree. I mean, some of them are.
If you agree, then why are you doing it, loser? You're a bitch. You look like an absolute witch of a mother. Like, you look like the freaking Wicked Witch of the West. Like, get your Wicked Witch of the West looking ass out here, mofo.
That's what got her killed in life.
You're gonna go forever goodbye, huh?
Easy access to your Neighbors Club points and rewards is a tap away. Download it now.
You know how different people in different offices can work on the same presentation at the same time?
Give me a second now. I think what I'm
We begin with the mother explaining that she planned on pranking Cody by pouring invisible ink on the carpet.
And then the dad, and then there's Uno cards.
I bought this here, invisible ink.
Yeah, yeah.
She lied.
That, oh my god, it's carpet too. I know it's off topic, but that's not really a good thing to be doing to your carpet,
That
dumbass.
also sounds really sus. Spraying it.
Oh, I'm gonna be spraying this liquid all over my carpet, not the Gonset.
Well, apparently it was his carpet, but still.
Cody about it. To say that they went overboard would certainly be an understatement.
What the hell is that? Cody!
I didn't do that! Tell me what you did! I swear to God, I didn't do that! Oh, I ran a carpet! I didn't do that! I don't want to think it's all what you
Why did you do that?
Pretty quickly, all of the kids are crying whilst the
He sound like the guy. He just sounds like an abusive asshole.
revealed that it was a prank.
Yeah.
The kids don't see him or
Like, I could tell by the way his voice, his demeanor.
And then one of his other videos were like, like the kids were saying it was like all prank and they weren't.
The thing is, the sad thing is some of these kids are going on to actually prank their children. You gotta realize that what your parents do, like
Is
a
what you
parent
do.
can actually influence what you do. For example,
Yeah.
I've actually thought about doing mechanical work because my dad is somewhat a mechanical worker. Because except maybe a painter, their son will probably be a painter too.
You would go into
My
a
dad
secret
wasn't a whole
tunnel
Lego
of
guy.
In fact, this is why criminals are born right here. Criminals are made because in their life there is abuse and
It
torture.
was like Billy. Like, you remember Billy in Stranger Things? His
Well,
dad used
kind
him.
of, yeah. Kind of like that. Like, that's how like, abusers are raised by the abusers.
I'm so, I really want Cody to be a good person, and
Yeah,
his
I hope
his dad should go to like a physical mental hospital.
he needs to be locked up, and they may make him drop the soap.
A ratio of less than 50%, leading Philip DeFranco to once again discuss the family, bringing widespread attention to the video.
So there was a range of anger. Some people saying this is outright abuse of your children. Others saying this is not abuse, but these are asshole parents that are exploiting their children for money and hurting
It's
them
abuse.
emotionally. And then it also appears that they have a dedicated...
No, it's what he's saying is that people are saying
A
that.
bunch of other YouTubers would go on to make
Yeah,
their own
either way,
videos
in my
discussing the
opinion,
prank.
it's
Daddy
abuse.
05 would respond with a video simply titled "Blocking All the Haters," in which they would acknowledge the
Blocking.
criticism.
I'm getting all kinds of hate right now on
No dirt.
all my social medias and on one of my videos called The Invisible Ink Prank.
Following this, they'd go on to ask Cody and Alex if they had been traumatized by the prank.
The prank was done on Alex and Cody.
Was anybody
And-
traumatized? No.
Right?
Are you guys
They
okay?
made them say
No. Here's the thing, you can't even see the parents in that shot. They're probably holding up a sign saying, say yes. Or they're probably saying, if you don't say yes, you will get, like, your toy saying, like, I bet money almost that that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're
I
off
think.
camera holding a sign or something, telling them to not do it. Because you know what?
And I bet you Cody is.
This is This is an extremely common thing that people do, is they make their victims say that they're not being tortured, but they threaten them to make them say yes. People, like abusers, do this all the time. It is a shitty, scummy move. I've seen this so many times.
You know what's worse? Okay, Cody's face looks like he's lying about
The
it.
mother would go on to state that the real problem was the haters.
So all you haters, you are the ones that give our children drama. You are the ones that cause us problems. You are the ones
And that's
that
what makes it fair.
We're causing you problems because you're causing your children problems. That's like saying... let me think of a good example here, eh? That's like saying... That's like scrutinizing firefighting for fighting your fires when you're the one that starts them. Like what? Are you retarded? Like are you mentally like retarded or something? Are you a dummy?
This video only seemed to bring more attention to the original prank, leading more YouTubers to talk about it. After a couple of days had passed, Daddy05 would cave in by uploading an apology video.
Right now,
Oh, this is the worst apology video ever.
By this Franco guy, he made a video about us just steamrolling us. He never contacted
Steamrolling your ass. That's what you deserve.
Jumping on this hate wagon. Everyone is jumping on this witch hunt,
in which they would try and convince the audience that all the pranks had been fake.
I don't care. Videos are fake. They're fake. They're over exaggerated. Some videos are scripted. Some they're just played out. They're the kids' ideas. We act them out.
Although this raised many suspicions, as in their interview with Keemstar, that stated the videos were exaggerated but real.
Are these videos 100% real? I mean, is it 100% real, or are you guys putting on a show like McJuggernuggets or Kid Behind the Camera?
The videos were not fake, but some things are a little exaggerated.
This discrepancy led Daddy05 to be interviewed on Good Morning America, where the legitimacy of the videos was put into question on national television.
Good Morning America?
Kids and the crying and the sobbing and that emotion we see was not real, are you?
Not every single time. Some of it was acted.
Now that there were even more eyes on the family, Daddy05 would upload a more polished second apology in which they would state that they were now in family counseling.
We are now in family counseling because we need it.
Good.
Not only to get through.
Now suffer for your actions,
stuff,
you miserable swine.
To come back together and have everybody, even the kids, to understand what we did wrong. This has been the absolute worst week of our life, and we realize that we have made some terrible parenting decisions.
You
Although
think?
The worst was certainly still yet to come. Only 10 days after having interviewed Daddy05 for their previous bit of controversy, Keemstar would upload a new video titled Daddy05 Might Be Arrested, in which he explained that the police were now attempting to investigate the parents.
More information has come out about the Daddy05 situation. Apparently, the police are investigating them. An article came out saying that the Baltimore County Police Department were investigating. They were having a hard time finding the videos and understanding which counties that these crimes took place in.
Yet it wasn't only the police who were investigating Daddy05 after it was revealed that the courts were also looking into the family. The biological mother of both Cody and Emma used the media attention to claim emergency custody back over her two children, meaning that they were now out of Mike and Heather's family.
Emma and Cody are with me. I have emergency custody. They're doing good. They're getting back to their playful selves.
4 months later in September 2017, an article would be published by Good Housekeeping titled Update, YouTube Pranking Parents Sentenced for Child Neglect.
Let's go. They got arrested, you dumb bastards.
For 2 counts of child neglect each. Also, any social media postings of the kids is prohibited unless it is for legitimate family purposes. However, by this point, the drama was already in the past, and the family minus Cody and Emma were back to posting videos under the slightly altered name Family 05. Yet this didn't sit well with YouTube, and in July 2018, their channel Family 05 would be terminated permanently. In a state of panic, the family would launch their own website on which they'd post vlogs behind a $5 per month payment wall. Yet after
Jesus Christ, that's $60 a year. I would rather spend that money on Xbox Gold while not having an Xbox. Not serious. Because at least I'd rather pay for someone's Xbox Gold Pass or a PS Plus Pass, because at least my money's going to someone that's not abusive.
only 6 months of posting on the website, then wipe every video from it, stating, "In order to move on with the healing process from the 2017 events, we have agreed willingly to remove our videos even from this site. For the sake and well-being of our family, Mike and I feel it is best that we take a long break from the public spotlight." The family would return to YouTube under the Martin family in 2009.
Dude, Sunny V2 makes really damn good content.
Although when looking through the comments on these videos, it's safe to say that the damage done to their reputation will never be repaired.
The pain away. This is a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and it's designed to help make aches and pains a thing of the past by relieving pressure points and supporting your body in a way no other mattress can.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Tempur-Pedic.
Mountain climbing disasters.
Standing at
Matterhorn.
692 feet tall, the Matterhorn is a near-symmetric pyramidal peak that sits on the border of Italy and Switzerland in the Pennine Alps. Its four impossibly steep faces rise above the surrounding glaciers and align almost perfectly with the directions of a compass. After the first ascents of most of the other great peaks in the Alps in the 19th century, the Matterhorn had yet to be conquered. At the end of this golden age of alpinism, two rival teams, one Italian and one British, hoped to be the first to summit the legendary Matterhorn. This is their story. Before we get into today's video, I want to give a quick shout out to Joel over at the Let's Read podcast. If you enjoy my content, I think you might enjoy his as well. So without further ado, here he is.
Hey friends, my name is Joel, and I'm the host of the Let's Read podcast, home to some of the most terrifying tales known to man. Now, the stories I read are a mix of petrifying personal accounts, chilling true crime documentaries, and scary stories submitted by listeners.
My sister would love
You
this.
can share your own frightening experiences with my hundreds of thousands of loyal subscribers. So, if you're a fan of horror or true crime, be sure to check out the Let's Read podcast. Available wherever you're listening right now.
In 1492, the same year that Christopher Columbus set sail from Spain, Antoine de Ville made the first recorded technical ascent of a mountain, Mont Aiguille, in France. Now certainly, this was not the first ever climb in the Alps, and especially not the first climb on Earth. Native cultures around the world have been climbing mountains in their local area for millennia. But this did mark a turning point for technical climbing and climbing in Europe. Then by the late 18th century, scientists began to turn their attention towards the mountains for the insight they promised about the atmosphere, weather, and glaciers. Slowly, the once thought impossible peaks became a thing of sport for mountaineers across Europe. It was at this point that the race to make the first ascent of all the large peaks was a source of both personal and national pride. The ascent of the Wetterhorn in 1854 marked the beginning of the so-called Golden Age of alpinism, whereby many of the major peaks in the Alps were ascended for the first time. This decade was dominated by British climbers and their Swiss and French guides. After all of the land masses around the globe had already been gobbled up by the expansive British Empire, they turned their attention to the unconquered mountain peaks, which seemed the perfect spot to plant a flag. One such example of these climbers was a man named Edward Whymper. Born on April 27, 1840, to an artist and wood engraver, Edward followed in his father's footsteps and was trained as an artist at an early age. In the summer of 1860, he was commissioned by a London publisher to travel to the Alps to make sketches and engravings of the alpine scenery. Although he was there for work, the athletic 20-year-old quickly developed a passion for mountaineering.
During this time, one of his commissions was of an unsuccessful attempt of the unclimbed Mont Pelvoux, a mountain that was thought to be the highest in the region at the time. In 1861, Edward would go on to summit Mont Pelvoux himself and discovered that it was actually topped by another mountain in the area. Upon making this discovery, he would go on to climb that mountain as well, and this sparked a string of expeditions and first ascents. His combination of fitness and artistic ability helped map out the topography of the area, which was lacking at the time. In the next few years, Edward would become one of the world's most successful mountaineers with close to a dozen first ascents. But there was one mountain that continued to elude him. Between the years of 1861 and 1865, with the help of Italian guide Jean-Antoine Carrel, Edward had attempted to summit the Matterhorn 7 times. Each of these attempts was unsuccessful, and over time, the relationship between the two had soured. According to Edward, Jean-Antoine was of the opinion that it should be a native of the area who made the first ascent. Edward's obsession to climb the mountain would end unsuccessfully for an 8th time, attempting a different route with different guides. For this attempt, he ascended up the east face up a rock corridor. After reaching a ridge, the team traversed the east face to the northeast ridge, with the intentions of following the ridge all the way to the summit, but a massive avalanche of rock and ice forced them to abandon their attempt. After that failed attempt, despite their prior disagreements, Edward hired Jean-Antoine once again and reserved his services as a guide until the 11th of July, 1865. On the 10th of July, the weather turned sour, and so their attempt was delayed.
If you're gonna chill with Woodbridge, then chill. Because why not is a perfectly acceptable reason. And if it holds wine, it's a wine glass. Woodbridge, wine your way.
Friday, August 5th, the PFL playoffs are live on ESPN. Oh, check!
Goodness gracious.
Once again, and reserved his services as a guide until the 11th of July, 1865. On the 10th of July, the weather turned sour, and so their attempt was delayed. Under ordinary circumstances, Edward could simply extend his engagement with Jean-Antoine, but Jean-Antoine had made other arrangements with the Italian Alpine Club. Knowing Edward's obsession with the mountain, Jean-Antoine had kept secret that these arrangements were actually an attempt of the Matterhorn. In addition, not only was Jean-Antoine unavailable, the expedition had enlisted the help of nearly all of the other expert guides in the area. It would be an all-Italian team with the intent of conquering the last great climb in the Alps for the national pride of Italy. But despite their efforts to keep it a secret, Edward found out about the attempt of the Italian team anyway and was furious. His pride and obsession with the mountain absolutely couldn't allow someone else to climb the Matterhorn. He studied the routes on the mountain intensely to see if there was any way he could still beat Jean-Antoine's group to the summit. Eventually,
He's gonna attempt something risky fast.
The village of Zermatt and set off to find porters and a guide. By chance, there was an English nobleman staying in the area named Lord Francis Douglas. He had been traveling across the Alps and was also eager to climb the Matterhorn. Not only was he interested in making an attempt, he knew of 2
McDonald's.
Peter Taugwalder Sr. and Peter Taugwalder Jr. who lived
Now,
outside of the village of Zermatt.
apparently we're supposed to wait on this guy named Schwanz to bring us food. Okay, so he's like he's a mobile, it's like a mobile store.
Which would serve as their
I think.
But they don't have everything.
I think Grandpa and Bryce's is like the same thing.
On the evening of July 12th, with the
Yeah,
intention
we get Schwanz for waiting for them.
in another unexpected turn of events, as they sat
They
there
haven't
eating
came
dinner,
yet. We're getting
3 more
pizza,
individuals
hopefully.
walked into
Cheese.
Monte Rosa.
They have in there.
As it turned out, it was English climber Charles
Starting
Hudson,
my
his guide
stomach
Michel
off.
Croix, who was a former companion of Edwards, and Douglas Haddo, an excellent athlete but novice in the mountains. This was just his first season in the Alps, and he had climbed just a single mountain thus far. The group had just returned from scouting out the mountain and also intended on making an attempt the following day at
What are
roughly
you
the
doing?
same
You're
time
still
as
playing
Edwards'
Astroneer?
group.
Yeah, I'm wiring up my factory. I'm actually right now. I'm wiring it up to like get all the. I'm putting a bunch of like floodlights around the area that way you can see at night, and you know.
Yeah.
And.
Want to hear something unique?
What?
You're about to hear horse death sounds.
Why?
Or in dog sounds of death.
Why?
You'll know why.
I guess you don't need me in the server anymore, right?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what? No, what did you say?
I guess you don't need me in the server anymore, right?
Oh no, no, not like that kind of server. Different server.
So.
Cubecraft.
Ascending the
Okay,
same route.
I didn't mean to say horses,
And so
but
it
I
was
meant to
settled,
say
although
dog
hastily put
sounds.
together, the team would
Me
leave for the
hitting
following
dog water
morning.
kids.
At 5:30 a.m. on July 13th, a group of 8 left the Monte Rosa Hotel. Peter
Hey.
Senior's
Oh,
other
they
son,
did a new
Joseph, would be acting as porter for
New
the first
mode
portion of the
CT.
call.
Monte Rosa.
At 8:30 a.m., they reached a small
It's
chapel
Monte
on
Rosa.
Red Mountain.
at 8,400 feet and returned.
But in Italian,
What is this?
in Italian, mountain is montagna. And red is rosa. Or rosso.
Rosa, oh.
So that means
Yeah.
something is red. I don't know what is, but it's named something red.
To some gear that had been stored within it. From there, they continued along a ridge until 11:30 a.m., where they reached the base of the Matterhorn. From the base, they traversed around the east face for about 30 minutes until they found a suitable spot to bivouac at 11,000 feet. This would mean that they only had 3,500 vertical feet to ascend the following day. In addition, Michelle and Peter Jr. went up ahead and scouted out the route to save time the following day. When they returned at 3 p.m., they reported that the route was much easier than it had looked from the ground. Although they weren't sure of the location of the Italian team, the group was cautiously optimistic about their chances of summiting and even about potentially beating the Italians to the peak. On the morning of the 14th, both teams started at dawn and expected to be on the summit by early afternoon. Peter Sr.'s youngest son, Joseph, had completed his task as porter, so he descended back down to Zermatt, while the others set off up the mountain. As was reported the day prior, Edward's team was pleasantly surprised to find that the route was significantly easier than it had looked from the ground. The northeast ridge formed a massive natural staircase that made for easy climbing. So easy that they didn't even need to use a rope for the majority of the ascent. And when there were challenging sections, the majority of the time, they could simply traverse to the left or right to go around the obstacle.
Apparently it's a Netflix Addison Rae movie.
12,800 feet with just under 2,000 to go.
Yeah, you hear me. Addison Rae Netflix movie.
Wait, what? Is that vegan meat?
Addison Rae. Come on, vote overpowered. Don't vote lameness. Don't vote normal. It's normal. Yeah, I'm not surprised. These kids are dog water.
Here's the thing that I hate about overpowered. I'm actually not doing overpowered now in like battle if I ever have to do it. I'm actually just doing like random because if you're overpowered, like if anyone kills each other, the person that died has no chance of winning the game.
Yeah, I'm not playing those kind of servers. I'm
I know.
playing like servers.
Left or right to go around the obstacle.
Bro, can you freaking hurry? I'll speed bridge for you, dog.
With just under 2,000 to go. They stopped for 30 minutes to rest and eat, and then continued on again until 10 a.m. at 14,000 feet. They rested here for almost an hour, anticipating that the remaining section would be a challenge closer to one that they had expected. At this altitude, they were just below an area that is now known as the shoulder. This is the point at which the mountain becomes significantly more challenging and dangerous. Upon seeing this, the group decided to rope up as an extra precaution for the rest of the climb. Tethering together is common practice.
Bro, move out my view!
The slope of these mountains is such that if you fall, you pick up speed so quickly that it can be almost impossible to stop yourself. If you're at least tethered to someone else, they can brace themselves.
Did you hear that race? All that ding, ding, ding.
On the flip side, if they slip too, this can result in the death of multiple people instead of just one. For their ascent, 3 ropes had been brought up from Britain. One was a big satchel, which was standard at the time. The second was a spare rope that was made of vanilla, and the third was a special new rope that manufactured specifically for the British Alpine Club for maximum safety in the mountains. This rope was
Scary, interesting. It's about a mountain climbing disaster.
All 7 of them tied together to ensure that if one of them fell, the weight would be distributed among them, making it
The climb would be significantly more difficult from that point forward, and the inexperienced Douglas Haddo would need continual assistance from then on. Snow filled the ridges on the rocks, making foot and handholds more
Crap, I'm
difficult
out
to
of
come by.
arrows.
But after coming to the top of the shoulder, there remained just 200 feet of snow below the summit. The excitement
I
within the
feel
group
it.
was palpable as they got
You
closer
idiot!
and
You
closer
jumped
to the
off the
summit.
edge for me not to
After
get that
spending
kill. That's
years
the
waiting for the moment,
stupidest crap.
Edward couldn't continue
My
to
God,
I
what a
still got the
dick.
kill.
The Italians could very well get there any second, and so out of impatience, Edward detached himself from the rope and started sprinting to the top. Michel
Uh-oh.
detached himself as well and followed right after Edward. The two men reached the top, neck and neck, right to the very end. At 1:40 p.m.
I
on
actually
July
got that
14th,
guy. He was 1 heart and I was 1
Edward
heart and a
Whitman
half, and I
Michel
killed him,
Leroux
and then I
conquered
got
the
the
battle.
big thing.
And to their surprise, not a single footstep could be seen anywhere on the summit, meaning that not only had they summited, they made it before the Italian team. This achievement, this last peak, marked the end of the golden age of alpinism. Edward and Michel
Ow,
had
frick you
peered
if you
down
kill
over
me.
the edge and saw the Italian team about 600 feet below. They shouted down to get their attention, and even went as far as to throw some rocks down when they couldn't get their attention by shouting. Upon noticing them, the Italians froze in their tracks.
Ooh.
Devastated to have not been first, the Italian team turned around and started back down the mountain. The rest of the team made it to the summit just a few minutes later, and then rested at the top of the incredible Matterhorn for an hour, soaking in the accomplishment. Eventually, after they decided that they had thoroughly enjoyed the moment, they roped up once again and started their descent down. They knew, though, that this would not be
Let's go,
descent.
hobo.
For this reason, they had Michel go first. He was the strongest climber. Next would be Douglas, the least experienced. Michel could help guide Douglas on the way down. After Douglas was Charles, then Francis, Peter Sr., Edward, and then Peter Jr. would be in behind. Now, if you're familiar with alpine climbing, you may have already felt a pang of anxiety upon hearing that all 7 men had been roped up together on the way up. In modern alpine climbing, it's not advised to have that many people on a single rope for a few reasons. First, the more people on a rope, the slower the team tends to be. It reduces the mobility of the team and makes the climbing more difficult.
I don't care if I died.
When you
I
move
got
more
a
slowly,
win
you
streak of
get
8
cold and stiff,
that time.
further adding to the difficulty of the climb. And finally, although you would think that tying everyone together would increase safety, it's actually the opposite. A fall
Watch this
with
guy
that many
jump off
climbers
the
on a
edge.
single rope risks pulling the entire team down.
Shit.
On the way up, Douglas had already
Come here,
required
boy.
a lot of help.
Come here, you back, come
The
back.
way down on slippery ice and snow, especially without the benefit of modern spikes
frick
and
you. I want to kill
crampons,
him.
made the descent
Got him.
much more challenging. It got to a point that
He's
Michel
going
was
for me.
directing
Why
Douglas's
me?
every
Out of
step.
all people, it's
During one
me.
particularly steep section, Michel laid down his axe so that he could physically place Douglas's feet. After they were in the correct spot, he turned around to take a step down when Douglas slipped and fell directly onto his back. Without any time to brace, the two of them went flying down the mountain. Charles was ripped from where he was standing next, and then Francis immediately after that. With a slight delay in between each person falling, Peter Sr. and Edward had enough time to brace themselves. Peter Sr. quickly turned around and wrapped his rope around an outcropping of the rock. Just as the rope went taut, it went loose again, breaking between Peter Sr. and Francis. For the next 2 or 3 seconds, they watched as the 4 men rocketed down the mountain, reaching out wildly, trying to grab a hold of anything they could. Eventually, they disappeared out of sight entirely over the edge of a precipice.
Oh,
From
shit.
the moment the rope broke, it was impossible to help them.
Wait, did they all go down?
You know when you would get on Minecraft today, Race?
I don't know.
Peter Sr., Edward,
Because I want to show you what I built.
stood there frozen in horror. Edward would later write that the two guys were shaking and crying, and that the
Every time I
entire
go to my
group stood
friends
there for
list,
30
Gunner's
minutes in
on.
shock.
It just says online PS4.
Eventually, after
I don't know if
collecting
he's like
themselves, they
watching
started
anything
off
or
again,
what.
this time tying themselves to some rocks before descending.
Damn.
At 6:30 p.m., they found a safe ridge to stop and called down the mountain, hoping to hear anything back. Unfortunately, no one would call back. They continued on once again until 9:30 p.m., where they bivouacked. Not a single word was spoken between the men that night. At daybreak on Saturday, July 15th, the 3 men started down the mountain once more. The Italian team had already broken the news that the men had summited, but were not aware that there had been an accident.
The group was initially congratulated for their ascent, but the mood quickly changed when they realized that only half the team was returning. A search was organized to go and recover the bodies, but it would take until 4 days later to finally recover what was left of them. As the remains tumbled down the mountain, the force and the speed of their descent caused them to break apart, leaving just bits and pieces to be recovered by the search party.
Oh.
In addition, the only thing ever found of Lord Francis Douglas was one of his sleeves. The rest of his body was never recovered. In the meantime, during the search, accusations were made by Edward that Peter Sr. had made mistakes leading to the death of the 4 men. Edward asked to see the rope and found that it was the oldest and weakest that had been tied together between Peter Sr. and Lord Francis.
Uh-oh.
To make matters worse, this was the first major climbing accident of the time, and several Englishmen had been killed. Lord Francis was even related to the Queen of England. The accident attracted a ton of attention from the press, and it was to the point that even the Queen commented on the incident, even publicly contemplating banning mountaineering for British citizens. An inquiry was set up at the hotel in Zermatt on July 21st to find out what had happened. In particular, was it negligence, was there foul play, or was this simply an accident? Edward was the first to be interviewed, and the Inquisition had him recount the events of July 14th from the point that the group was just below the summit. He went on to explain that the weak rope had been placed between the two groups, and even went as far as to accuse Peter Sr. of using the weak rope so that in the event of a fall, him and his son would not be pulled down with the other group. Peter Sr. was told that next, as mountain guide, he was in the worst position. In the event of an accident, if a guide is deemed negligent, and their negligence leads to the death of 1 or more people, they can then be sentenced to prison. Thankfully, Peter Sr. would go on to answer every question the Inquisition had in great detail. First, from the start of the attempt, Peter Sr. had insisted that 2 guides were not enough for the number of people in the group. However,
I'm putting up the towers, or some of them the towers that are going to house the lights.
was equal to that of a guide.
Now at this point, you're probably starting to see the base come together.
There was no other rope available. The new rope was not long enough to attach all 7 men, and the vanilla rope was in the backpack of Michel. And although this was considered to be a weaker rope, it was not considered to be too weak to hold.
20 plus.
They wouldn't have brought it at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna need at least 30 lights.
Significantly, the ropes were provided by the tourists, not the guides. Due to their maritime experience, the British were significantly better at rope making, and so attempted to use the ropes that they brought with them. Finally, Peter Sr. was able to show them the burns and cuts he had on his hands. Upon hearing the men fall, his quick reaction to wrap the rope around a nearby rock had anchored the upper 3 men and prevented them from being pulled down as well. The inquiry ultimately ruled that the event was simply an accident, a simple misstep by the novice Douglas Haddo. Zermatt considered Peter Sr. a hero, but Edward was not convinced. He would go on to publish a book about the incident and accused Peter Sr. of deliberately using the thin cord. He would also accuse him of being unfit mentally because of his reaction to the death of the 4 men. This was incredibly damaging to Peter Sr.'s reputation, and he had essentially no recourse. Edward was a professional writer, and Peter Sr. was likely illiterate. In the aftermath of the incident, these accusations made it difficult for Peter Sr. to continue working as a guide. He would eventually move to the United States to try to find different work, but ended up moving back 4 years later and bought a portion of the hotel in Zermatt. Although the inquiry had officially acquitted Peter Sr., there was one question that remained that was debated for many years following the accident. Why was the special rope not long enough to be tied between all 7 men? Not only was it not long enough, it looked as though it had been cut midway. It was speculated that during the fall, someone may have cut the rope to prevent the other 3 men from being pulled down. And in fact, the rope was kept and analyzed recently by modern forensic analysis. Incredibly, the way that the end of the fibers were split definitively showed that the rope was cut. This called into question the entire story given by the group until another discovery was made that fully explained what had occurred on that day. In the last 2 decades, a descendant of Douglas Haddo managed to uncover some letters written by Edward where he claims to have cut the rope himself. It seems that he later realized that the reason the special rope was too short was that in his impatience on the way up, instead of untying himself, he cut the rope
This
off
side's gonna be the wonkiest side.
On the way down, each of these was not long enough to tie all 7 men together, forcing them to use another rope to connect the
I'm gonna get much more of these towers, but it doesn't matter because these towers are insanely cheap.
like Peter Sr., and so he let the accusations run wild anyway and continued continued to accuse him of malice. Unfortunately for Peter Sr., his reputation outside of Zermatt had been irreparably damaged during his lifetime. This recent revelation clears his name once and for all, though, so hopefully history will look back
I'm gonna
at
cut
him
my hair soon, it's so long.
In addition, following the incident, his son Peter Jr. would take up his father's mantle as a guide and become one of the most highly respected and renowned guides in the area. He would go on to summit the legendary mountain 125 times and was affectionately given the nickname Matterhorn Peter. If you made it this far, I just wanted to thank you for watching. This is part 4 of the series Mountain Climbing Disasters, so if you enjoyed this video, you may
Storm of a century, climbing, trapped in a snow cave on Mount Hood. Yes, I love mountain and caving stuff now, I guess.
A school trip up to the summit of Mount Hood turned into a nightmare when the storm of the century forced the group to turn around just below the summit. And this would just be the beginning of their ordeal. Before we get into today's video, I want to introduce all of you to today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is an app and browser extension that allows you to connect to servers all over the world. A massive 83% discount and 3 extra months free. On top of that, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's virtually no risk. Click the link at the top of the description or the one on screen right now if you want to access all of Surfshark VPN's cool features with the massive discount that they're offering for Scary Agent viewers.
Putting some of the floodlights on. I don't think I'm gonna have enough floodlights for the facility.
Just before midnight on Sunday, May 11th, 1986, 15 students gathered together at the Oregon Episcopal School in southwest Portland. This small private academy hosted a program called Base Camp for its students, which offered an optional trip up the nearby Mount Hood. That night, all of the students were gearing up for this ascent, and within 12 hours,
I'm gonna put one more
they'd be standing
thing right
on top
here.
of the 11,249-foot summit. In just the 10th grade, the program was supposed to teach the students all about problem solving and teamwork in a challenging environment. And so leading up to their ascent, the students were taught all of the basics of technical climbing in snow. For months, they had practiced how to step kick on the ascent, to plunge step on the descent, how to perform a sitting glissade, how to self-arrest in a fall, and even some basic first aid. Over the decade that this program had been run, there had been dozens of successful ascents, and the students loved it. That night, before they left the school, they checked to make sure they had all of their equipment, which included carabiners, harnesses, crampons, a field stove, a sleeping bag, a tarp, and some first aid.
What is a crampon?
They didn't know it yet, but this would become their most crucial piece of equipment up on the mountain. After collecting their last pieces of equipment, they got back on the school bus at 3 a.m., and then it took them up the 90-minute forest service road to the base of the trail.
Is a traction device attached to the foot? Okay, so a crampon is a thing that you wear on the edge of your foot that has spikes in it. Okay.
The temperature that morning was comfortably above freezing, and because they had left so early, they would have plenty of daylight, even if their day ran much slower than expected. This is crucial on the mountain. Navigating the dark is almost impossible, so you need to make sure that you budget much more daylight than you expect to need. That morning, the students set off on a path that started around 6,000 feet in calf-deep snow. Although they only had 5,000 vertical feet to travel, the total length of the mountain trip would be about 6 miles. In the darkness before dawn, everything was calm and quiet, except for the sound of their footsteps in the snow. Their goal, the summit of Mount Hood, is part of the Cascade Volcanic Arc and sits about 50 miles southeast of Portland. It's the highest mountain in Oregon and the 4th highest in the entire Cascade Range. In addition to its height, its prominence gives it that picturesque mountain view towering above the surrounding area. Because of its height as well, it's a glaciated peak with 12 permanent glaciers and snowfields, giving it the feel of a much taller mountain, along with much of the associated danger. As with most people who attempt to summit Mount Hood, they would be following the route along the south side of the mountain. This route ascends along the eastern edge of the Timberline ski area and parallels the famous Palmer chairlift all the way up to 8,500 feet. Beyond the Palmer chairlift is the famous Crater Rock, which is a large outcrop.
My sister's boyfriend here? Yup.
Okay, that was enough. Well, luckily, you're working with the professor. Please, just give me some
can't wait to finish my factory. I want to finish like wiring around it. I'm working right now on external lighting. That way around the factory will be lit up and just well good, like just good looking, you know what I mean? Good factories are good and well lit.
A crater-like ridge that forms the summit, Hogsback, which is a massive mound of snow and ice, and then finally the pearly gates that are the final rocky icy obstacle right before the 11,249-foot peak. And although the route up the south face is about as straightforward as they come, it doesn't mean that there isn't some risk involved. In fact, this ostensibly easy climb is a contributor to the number of deaths that have occurred on the mountain. Over 120 people have died on Mount Hood, which is equal to some of the other great North American peaks, like Mount Denali and Mount Washington. Its permanent glaciation gives it the same avalanches and crevasses, while its quickly changing weather can turn a simple ascent into a disaster waiting to happen. It's crucial to have an experienced guide who's familiar with those risks to ensure a safe ascent. For this group of students, Thomas Goman was that guide. He had made this climb 18 times in the past decade, and there had yet to be a single incident. When he took the job at Oregon Episcopal a decade earlier, he was already an experienced mountaineer, and his experience in the mountains, coupled with his educational background, made him the perfect fit to lead the students. He held a degree from Harvard and a doctorate from Claremont, and was considered to be the brain on campus. In his years at the school, he was beloved by the students. However, one student would later write that Tom had a
Yeah.
Did you break anything? We need to call an ambulance or something.
Okay, thanks. Are you sure, Jaggy's? Really hurt. It was. I feel fast. That. Oh, you got it.
Be right